Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, so hopefully everybody will rejoin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
You're fine.
I know it wasn't me.
It wasn't you at all. I didn't think so.
All right, so we'll try this again. Hopefully the connection will stay good. Let's give everybody some time.
I sure hope so.
I sure hope so too. I'm just not sure what went wrong with the last.
What went wrong with the last?
Yeah, I don't know. It froze up.
Goodness me.
Yes. Goodness you. All right, so everybody is starting to rejoin.
Okay.
All right, let's give it a few more seconds to let people join you.
Okay.
All right. Someone said they're having a baby. What should they name her? What's a good girl baby name that you like?
There are girls' names I like and some names I don't even like.
Okay, well, what do you like?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. If you had a little girl, what would you name her?
Connie or Susie, like my grandma.
Oh, okay, after one of your grandmas. All right.
One of my grandmas.
All right, you're getting a lot of people in here, so you can go ahead and tell them what you're going to be reading them.
Hi everyone. Tonight's story is Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So I know Snow White is the first Disney princess, and Snow and the Seven Dwarfs is the movie that started it all.
Right.
Okay, here it goes.
Here goes.
Long ago there lived a kind and beautiful princess. Her lips were red as roses, her hair as black as ebony, and her skin as white as snow. Her name was Snow White. She lived in the castle with only her wicked stepmother, the queen, to care for her all day long. The queen made her cook and clean, forcing her to wear rags instead of royal dresses. Goodness, that's something like what happened to Cinderella.
It is.
But nothing could dim Snow White's beauty or her caring heart. Even as she scrubbed the castle steps, she sang, the birds flocking to hear her voice.
Wait, remember my stand's broke, so you got to turn. There you go. Everybody can see that. Good.
Anne Marie from All Dogs Go to Heaven looks just like her, doesn't she?
You're right.
It could be Snow White was an evolution of Anne Marie.
Probably the other way around.
The other way around?
Go ahead.
Snow White sang of her wish to find true love. Her song soared over the castle walls and caught the ears of a handsome prince who couldn't resist coming closer. He rode his white stallion up to the castle, bounded over the wall, and watched Snow White in wonder. No sooner had he set eyes on the princess than he fell deeply in love. The prince couldn't help singing along to Snow White's song of love, taking her by surprise. Oh, cried Snow White, turning, and not knowing what else to say. She hurried back into the castle. Hello, did I frighten you? Asked the prince. Wait, please, don't run away. Now that I've found you, hear what I have to say. And he began to sing of his love, as Snow White leaned down from the castle balcony and smiled. The prince sure is handsome.
He is handsome.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
From high on her tower, Snow White's wicked stepmother watched them. She noticed that Snow White grew more beautiful day by day, and it was concerning. No one should be more beautiful than she, the queen. Magic mirror on the wall, she chanted, who is the fairest one of all? And a swirl of purple smoke, the face in the magic mirror replied, Famed is thy beauty, majesty, but hold, a lovely maid I see. Rags cannot hide her gentle grace. Alas, she is fairer than thee. Alas for her, screeched the queen. Reveal her name. Lips red as the rose, hair black as ebony, skin white as snow. The mirror replied, Snow White, the queen snarled in shock.
Oh, boy.
The queen sure is beautiful.
There we go. Yes, she is beautiful.
In a rage, The queen ordered the royal huntsman to come to her. Take her far into the forest, she said, speaking of Snow White. Find some secluded glade where she can pick wildflowers. Yes, your majesty, said the huntsman. And there, my faithful huntsman, you will kill her, snapped the queen. But your majesty, said the huntsman, the little princess. The queen leaned forward. Silence! You know the penalty if you fail, she snarled. Yes, your majesty, the huntsman replied. But to make doubly sure you do not fail, the queen continued, collapsing a gleaming box. Bring back her heart in this. Goodness me.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Goodness. The husband felt he had no choice but to obey the queen's orders. He took Snow White deep into the forest, just as his mistress had commanded. There the princess picked wildflowers and dreamed of the prince she had met that morning. And while she gathered her flowers, she sang to the birds. The huntsman crouched behind her, his dagger drawn. As a shadow fell over her, Snow White turned and screamed. The dagger gleamed in the sunlight, a flash of metal. I can't do it. Forgive me, said the huntsman, dropping his dagger to the ground. I beg you, your highness, forgive me. I don't understand, said Snow White, falling back in terror. She is mad, said the huntsman, jealous of you. She'll stop at nothing. But who? Asked Snow White. The queen, replied the huntsman. Now, quick, child, run. Run away, hide in the woods anywhere, never come back. Go. Now go.
Ooh.
Goodness me.
Right?
I remember that part.
Me too.
Snow White turned and fled into the forest, but the deeper she went, the darker it became. Owls swooped overhead. A cloud of bats brushed against her face. Her cloak became tangled in the branches, which seemed to reach for her with long witch-like fingers. Leaves caught on the wind and swept before her eyes, so she couldn't see which way to go, and she still ran, even as the trees closed in around her, and everywhere she turned, she saw 100 watchful eyes. It was as if the forest itself had come alive and was chasing her. At last, Snow White could take no more. She flung her arms over her head and collapsed to the ground.
Ooh.
Goodness me.
Can you move it a little closer?
During Snow White's flight through the forest, she imagined the forest coming to life with horrible creatures.
She did, didn't she?
No wonder.
Scary.
As she lay there sobbing, a rabbit hopped up over to her, gently snuffling. Oh, said Snow White, rising up. At once, the rabbit hopped away in fear. Please don't run away, Snow White called after him. I won't hurt you. In reply, a huddle of woodland creatures leapt out from behind the trees. There were rabbits, deer, chipmunks, and a family of bluebirds bobbing their little heads on a branch. I'm so ashamed of the fuss I've made, said Snow White, wiping her tears and smiling. I'm sure we'll get along somehow. Everything's going to be all right. But I do need a place to sleep at night. I can't sleep in the ground like you or in a tree the way you do. And I'm sure no nest could possibly be big enough for me. Maybe you know where I can stay. In the woods somewhere? The animals nodded. You do, said Snow White. Will you take me there?
Ooh.
I'm sure they can.
They're gonna take her, huh?
They're gonna take her all right. Let's see. The animals led Snow White through the forest to a sunlit clearing by the side of a stream. In the middle of the clearing stood a pretty little cottage with sloping roofs and soft brown walls. Oh, cried Snow White, it's adorable, just like a doll's house. She ran to the window and peered inside, but it was too dark to see. Guess there's no one home, said Snow White, but she couldn't resist taking a look. Hello, she called, knocking on the front little door. May I come in? The door fell open at her touch, but there was no answer. I don't think she should have gone to that empty cottage.
Probably not. You shouldn't go inside somebody's home.
The dwarfs don't have sense to lock their door.
Silly.
As she walked into the cottage, she spied a pickaxe, a stocking, a shoe, and even little chairs. But what would a shoe be doing in a soup pot? What was it doing in there?
Hmm.
Must be 7 little children, decided Snow White. And from the look of this table, 7 untidy little children. She thought they were children, but they were little men. Just look at that fireplace. It's covered with dust. And look, cobwebs everywhere. Maybe they have no mother. Then they're orphans. That's too bad. I know, she said, turning to the woodland animals. We'll clean the house and surprise them. Then maybe they'll let me stay. Now you wash the dishes, Snow White said to the chipmunks. You tidy up the room, she told the rabbits. You clean the fireplace, she nodded at the deer. And I'll use the broom all at once. Snow White and the animals set to work, dusting and sweeping and washing and sorting. The birds brought in flowers from outside and set them in a jug on the table.
Ooh, nice.
Let's see what happens next.
Let's see.
When at last they were done, Snow White decided to take a tiny peek upstairs. There were 7 little beds, each had a name carved into the wood. Snow White read them out in turn. Doc, Happy, Sneezy, Dopey. What funny names for children. Grumpy, Bashful, and Sleepy. On hearing the word sleepy, Snow White yawned. I'm a little sleepy myself, she admitted. She lay down across the beds, closed her eyes, and in no time at all was fast asleep. Snow White soon comes to realize they are little men. But the cottage didn't belong to 7 untidy children. It was the home of 7 dwarfs all day. They had been hard at work digging for diamonds and rubies and sapphires deep below the earth, and now, pickaxes slung over their shoulders, they were marching home as the sun set across the sky. As they marched, they sang a song and whistled a tune, and then, look, called Doc as their house came into view. Our house, the lights light up, the lights lit.
Wow.
Wow is right. Jiminy crickets, they all cried. The doors opened, chimney smoking, something's in there. They all took turns guessing what it might be. Maybe a ghost, said Happy, or a goblin, said Bashful. A demon, said Doc, or a dragon, said Sneezy. A dragon? There are no dragons in Snow White, but they mentioned one.
They did, didn't they?
Mark my words, said Grumpy. There's trouble a brewing. Let's sneak up on it, said Happy.
Sneak up on it.
The dwarfs just have to go there to investigate.
Yeah, they do.
The 7 dwarfs tiptoed up the stairs. Under the sheets, Snow White yawned and stretched. What a monster. It's not a monster. It's a girl, not a monster, said Sneezy. Ooh, excuse me. Covers 3 beds, added Bashful. They crept closer, pulled up the sheet, and, why, it's a girl, said Doc. She's beautiful, said Sleepy. She's waking up, said Happy. What do we do? Asked Sneezy. And even as they spoke, Snow White opened her eyes. Oh, she cried, seeing them all lined up at the foot of the bed. Why, you're little men. How do you do? Now don't tell me who you are. Let me guess. And she named each one in turn. How is Snow White's hair blonde? Did you, in early story sketches, Snow White's hair was blonde at one time during development, despite the story references to hair black as ebony.
Yeah.
That's a surprise.
It is, huh?
We know who we are. Ask her who she is and what she's a-doing here, demanded Grumpy. Oh, said Snow White. How silly of me. I'm Snow White. The princess, cried the dwarfs. Yes, said Snow White. We're honored, said Doc. Yes, we're mad as hornets, said Grumpy, scowling at Doc. Tell her to get out. Please don't send me away, begged Snow White. If you do, she'll kill me. Kill you. Who will? Asked the dwarfs. My stepmother, the queen, exclaimed Snow White. She's wicked. She's bad, cried the dwarfs. She's right, mean. If the queen finds her here, but she doesn't know where I am, said Snow White. She knows everything, said Grumpy. She's full of black magic. She can even make herself invisible. Oh, she'll never find me here, said Snow White. And if you let me stay, I'll keep house for you. I'll wash and sew, I'll sweep, I'll cook. Apple dumplings? They asked eagerly. Yes, said Snow White, and plum pudding and gooseberry pie. Gooseberry pie, said the dwarfs. Hooray, she stays. When
stays.
Snow White mentioned plum pudding, we never see her make him.
No, we never see her make it.
Snow White hurried downstairs to tend to the pot bubbling over the fire. Soup, cried the dwarfs, sniffing the air. They scrambled after Snow White and leapt toward the table. Said Snow White. Supper's not quite ready. You'll just have time to wash. Wash? Cried the dwarfs. March straight outside and wash, or you'll not get a bite to eat, said Snow White. They better wash up, 'cause otherwise there will be no supper.
Right?
They just gotta wash. After dinner, there was music and dancing. Dog strummed a cello. Dobie hit the drums, and Grumpy played the organ. Happy and Bashful joined arms and twirled around the cozy cottage while Snow White watched from her chair, clapping and smiling. Dog took Snow White's hand, and they twirled across the floor. Then Dopey stood on Sneezy's shoulders and took his turn to dance with Snow White. That was so funny.
It was, wasn't it?
That was fun, laughed Snow White, as the dancing came to an end. Tell us a story, begged Sleepy. Yes, called the other dwarfs. Tell us a story, a true story, a love story. Once there was a princess, began Snow White, and she fell in love. As the dwarf smiled and listened, she began to sing of her wish to find true love. Only when the clock struck 11 did she realize the time. Oh my goodness, it's past bedtime, she cried. The dwarves begged Snow White to take their beds, while they settled downstairs on drawers and cupboards in the sink and on shelves, and snored the night away. But in real life, sleeping all that, that's so uncomfortable.
That would be uncomfortable. That was nice of them to give up their beds.
Uh-oh, here it comes. But as Snow White and the dwarf slept, there was one light still shining in the castle. The Wicked Queen was in her bedchamber calling to her magic mirror. Her bedchamber? I didn't know she actually had a bedchamber. It just didn't show. Just a mirror chamber. Magic mirror on the wall. Who now is the fairest one of all? She asked. The mirror replied, over the 7 jewel hills, beyond the 7th fall, in the cottage of the 7 dwarfs dwells Snow White, fairest one of all. Snow White lies dead in the forest. I don't think so, declared the queen. The huntsman has brought me proof. She held the box the huntsman had given her. Behold her heart. It's not the mirror that lied. It is the queen that lied, not the mirror.
Right.
Snow White still lives, the mirror replied. The fairest in the land. 'Tis the heart of a pig you hold in your hand. The heart of a pig, cried the queen. Then I've been tricked. They never actually shown the pig's heart.
Well, we wouldn't want to see that, would we?
That'd be gross.
Right.
Too gross.
Too gross.
Furious, the queen raced down, right to the depths of the castle, where the air was dank and heavy, and rats with yellow eyes watched from the shadows. There, amongst cobwebs and cauldrons, she pulled down a spell book. I'll go myself to the dwarf's cottage, she vowed, in a disguise so complete no one will ever suspect. Now, a formula to transform my beauty into ugliness. She studied the ancient pages of the spellbook to see what she would need. Oh, I know these words so well.
I know you do.
Mummy dust to make me old, to shroud my clothes the black of night, to age my voice an old hag's cackle, to wipe my hair a scream of fright, a blasted wind to fan my hate, a thunderbolt to mix it well. Now begin thy magic spell. One by one, the Wicked Queen added the ingredients to her glass, until it bubbled thick and green. Then she drank it down. Oh my goodness. That used to scare me as a child.
It sure did.
And then when I got older, I got used to it. I found out it wasn't so bad after all.
Right.
At once, the magic took hold. Her hair whitened, her skin wrinkled and sagged. Her fingers turned to bony claws. The queen's voice became an ancient croak. Her royal robes, an old black cloak. That perfect disguise, she crowed. Then she turned her attention to Snow White. A special sort of death for one so fair. What shall it be? She leaped once more through the spell book, then stabbed at a page with her bony finger. Ah, a poison apple. One taste of the poison apple and the victim's eyes will close forever in the sleeping death. Oh no.
Oh no.
I saw the old hag over at Candy Cauldron, And at the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train when I wrote it.
And you got to write it twice, didn't you?
I did.
Woo.
I can't count the number of times I wrote it, but I wrote it so many times. The queen set to work, brewing another spell. She dipped the apple into the bubbling potion until it was coated. When she breaks the tender peel, to taste the apple in my hand, her breath will still, her blood congeal. Then I'll be the fairest in the land. But wait, there may be an antidote. She frowned down at the pages. The victim of the sleeping death can be revived only by love's first kiss, she read. Ha! No fear of that. The dwarfs will think she's dead. She'll be buried alive. The cackling still. She picked up her basket of apples, placed the poison apple at the very top, and crept out of the castle.
Oh, she was on it.
Apples are always my favorite fruit.
Mm-hmm.
The following morning broke bright and clear. Snow White opened the door of the little cottage to wave goodbye to the dwarfs. "Now, don't forget, my dear," said Duck. "The old queen's a sly one, full of witchcraft, so beware of strangers." "Watch out," said Sneezy. Cho. Smiling at them, Snow White lifted up the dwarf's hat one by one and kissed the tops of their heads, making them blush to their toes. Last of all came Grumpy. "Don't let nobody or nothing in the house," he muttered. "What, Grumpy?" said Snow White. "You do care." And she kissed him too. "Humph," said Grumpy, but for a second his face broke into a smile. Snow White stood in the doorway, watching them go. And as she watched, she dreamed again of the prince. I bet she did.
I bet she did.
As Snow White cleaned and cooked, she sang her lovely song. Her voice wafted out of the open window, and the birds and animals of the woods gathered around to hear her sing. But she was interrupted by a sharp cackle. An old hag stood by the kitchen window, her bony claw-like fingers grasping on the sill. "All alone, my pet?" said the hag. "The little men not with you?" "No, they're not," but stammered Snow White, remembering the dwarf's words. Should she beware of the stranger? She better.
Mm-hmm.
The old hag sniffed the air. Making pies, she plucked an apple from her basket. "It's apple pies that make the men folks' mouths water. Like to try one?" "No, don't."
Don't do it, right?
You tell her like it is. Don't do it. Snow White held back, hesitating, wary. But the woodland animals knew at once that this old hag was the wicked queen in disguise. She is, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
The birds flew down from their branches like a furious twittering cloud, and the deer and the chipmunks stomped around her, forcing her back. "Shame on you," scolded Snow White, frightening a poor old lady. "Oh, my heart," cried. "Oh, my poor heart," croaked the hag. "Take me to the house and let me rest. A drink of water, please." Bravely, Snow White put aside her fears and helped that old hag into the house. Goodness.
Oh, she's definitely an old hag.
Who's really the queen?
Oh, yeah.
With Snow White and the hag inside the cottage, the woodland animals rushed to tell the dwarfs what was happening. I don't think the dwarfs understood. They reached them just as they were about to head into the mines. The birds pulled at their clothes with their beaks. The deer tried to drive them back toward their cottage. "There's something wrong," said Doc. "They ain't acting this way for nothing. Maybe the old queen's got Snow White," said Sleepy. "She does, all right." The dwarfs gasped. "We gotta save her," cried Doc. "What do we do?" asked Happy. "Come on," said Grumpy, who had already started to run back to the cottage as fast as he could. "I hope they can get there in time."
I hope they can, too.
But at that very moment, the old hag was imploring Snow White to try the apple. "This is no ordinary apple," she whispered. "It's a magic wishing apple. One bite and all your dreams will come true." "Really?" asked Snow White. "Yes, girlie," said the hag. "There must be something your little heart desires. Perhaps there's someone you love. Now, take a bite. Don't let the wish grow cold. Snow White took the apple. I wish, she began, and she shut her eyes, thinking of the handsome prince. Go on, cried the hag. Snow White took one bite and fell to the floor. Oh no!
Oh, boy.
But don't worry, this is not a horror film, it's a fairy tale.
Okay.
And she's not dead, she's in a deep sleep.
Thank you for clarifying.
I know it, because I do.
Yes.
Crowing with glee, the hag stumbled out of the cottage. No sooner had she taken a step than the blue sky vanished behind gathering clouds. Lightning flashed and rain fell in torrents. The hag could hear pounding footsteps. Along the path came the dwarfs riding on the backs of the deer, followed by a stream of woodland animals. There she goes, cried Grumpy, pointing after her. The old hag fled, and the dwarfs gave chase. She ran through the stormy forest, now black as night, through tangled branches and over gnarled, twisted roots. At last, she came to the foot of a craggy mountain. Up and up she went, and over the rain-soaked rocks. All the time, she looked back over her shoulder to see the dwarfs closing in on her. Even as the rain lashed down on them, they didn't give up, driving the hag higher and higher. Oh my goodness. It's almost like the heavens are angry at the queen for
Open the book up a little
her
more.
evil deeds.
Well, they probably are.
Heaven's angry at the queen for her evil deeds.
Mm-hmm.
Panting for breath, the hag grasped a blackened branch and hurled herself onto a high jutting rock. I'm trapped, she cried, looking down. There was nothing but rain slanting through empty air. What will I do with the meddling little fools? Then turning, she saw a huge boulder and began to prise it from the rock face to send it crashing down onto the dwarfs. I'll fix ya, she cried. I'll crush your bones. Oh, she tried desperately to pry a boulder loose to crush them, didn't she?
She did. She tried.
Look out, cried Grumpy, and she saw the witch at work. The hag let out a cackle, but before she could set the boulder free, lightning forked down from the sky and struck her where she stood. She allowed an anguished cry, and then stumbled backward before falling down into the abyss. The boulder came crashing after her. There was a long, shrill cry, and then nothing.
Nothing.
Goodness me.
I think that was the end of her, huh?
Yep. Who knows where that would lead to?
Who knows?
The dwarfs returned home and gathered sorrowfully around Snow White's lifeless body. Tears spilled from their eyes, and Grumpy sobbed loudest of all. Snow White looked so beautiful and so peaceful, the dwarfs couldn't bear to bury her. Instead, they placed her in a glass coffin and kept watch over her, and so the seasons passed, and as the first spring flower blossomed on the branches, the prince heard word of the maiden who slept in the glass coffin, and he rode his white stallion to a little clearing in the forest where she lay. Goodness me.
Open it up a little more.
But why are the dwarfs crying? She's not dead. She's in a deep sleep.
Well,
They didn't know.
they didn't know.
At once, the prince knew her for the princess from the castle who had sung to all those long months ago. He walked over and saw her lying there, just like one sleeping. The prince bent down and kissed Snow White gently before kneeling at her side. The prince knelt with him, and the woodland animals gathered round. Then slowly, hesitantly, Snow White's eyes fluttered open. She yawned and stretched, and one by one, the dwarfs and the animals and the prince saw that Snow White had awoken. Wordlessly, Snow White reached out to the prince, and he gathered up in his arms. The dwarfs rejoiced. They danced and hugged each other. The dear prince before them, and the bluebirds swooped and divided through the air.
Ooh.
That's a lovely part from the movie.
That is lovely.
The prince placed Snow White on his horse, and she waved goodbye to the dwarfs. Then together they set off toward the sunset. On the horizon, just visible by the light of the setting sun, was the prince's castle shining gold. Snow White smiled. This was where she wanted to be living, happily ever after. The end.
What a good story.
That was a lovely story.
It was lovely.
I always liked the part where the handsome prince woke Snow White with a kiss. It was so lovely.
It was
I
lovely.
can't imagine for the way Grumpy treated Snow White. It's like Grumpy didn't treat Snow White in such a manner.
He was just grumpy.
He sure was grumpy. I assumed the old hag, when she fell off the cliff, she either fell into a deep hole or the churning sea, or she could have got crushed by that giant boulder.
Could have, huh?
Yep,
We don't know, do we?
we don't know for sure. So first at Disney World, I met Snow White, and then I saw her again at the Magic Kingdom, where she did a twirl for me, and then I saw her as a meet and greet social distance, and she remembered me.
She did remember you, didn't she?
At first, I saw the Queen at Disney in a YouTube video, and then I tried to find her, and then I finally found her over at Princess Fairy Tale Hall, and I didn't even know.
We didn't know she was going to be there, did we?
And I was so lucky to find the Queen.
You were lucky.
Even she loved the respect she ever got.
You did show her a lot of respect.
When I bow to the Queen and say, Your Majesty.
Is that what we should do if we meet her again?
If I see her again, and you meet her, we will bow and say, Your Majesty.
Oh, I have to bow too?
Yes, you do.
Okay, I'll remember that. Everybody wants to know how you're feeling today. You had a hard time at the airport, didn't you?
Oh, at least I'm fine.
You're fine now, but boy, getting through the airport was tough on your tootsies, wasn't it?
Even at Epcot and Hollywood Studio, when I was riding on the wheelchair and you kept pushing the wheelchair.
Yeah, because your feet were just hurting too bad, weren't they?
Not that I minded the wheelchair, but it's a shame they don't let nobody keep the wheelchairs forever.
Well, we don't need to. It's so everybody can use one if they want.
But did you notice that at the airport there were also wheelchairs with sticks?
Right, but I
What
thought
were they for?
just to get other people through the airport. Help them through.
I didn't expect to see any wheelchairs with sticks at the airport.
Well, they're there. Is there anything else you want to tell everybody about your trip? Did you ride all the rides you wanted to ride?
I sure did.
Did you ride some new rides?
One of them was Tower of Terror and Mount Everest, although they're both scary but fun at the same time.
Yeah, it was fun. Sure.
And I enjoyed one Mickey-shaped pretzel.
Oh, yeah, that Mickey pretzel was great.
After we finished the pretzel, we didn't really need more treats.
No, we didn't. We had plenty of treats, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Everyone says they hope your feet feel better.
They are.
Good. All right, are you going to read to everybody again on Sunday?
On Halloween at my house.
All right.
I don't know when I'm going to read on Sunday in honor of Halloween.
But we'll read to everybody, won't we? Or you will, not me.
It could be any I can read on Sunday in honor of Halloween.
Right. Any book you want, you can read to them on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Especially if they act like any Halloween stories.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to tell them before we go?
There's nothing else I wanted to say, but thank you, everyone. I hope to read again.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.